Welcome to tutorial 4 in the CNC tutorial series of our making a cutting board or our laminated project. In this tutorial we're going to set up tool paths. So far we've brought in our DXF, we set up our job, we did a little bit of editing to clean this up a bit, and now it's tool path time. Now this is the exciting part. Tool paths are what the actual CNC tool or cutter is going to follow when it does its work. So right now it doesn't know what to do. We haven't set up a single tool path, so we're going to set up our first tool path. Now to do this, remember this thumbtack here. If it was unchecked, it's this tab. It says tool paths, but the reason we check this thumbtack is to stop the little flyout from flying back and forth, and now it's a fixed menu, and we will use it to make our tool paths. I've said tool paths a lot. Click on your oval. It goes magenta. We would like a tool to follow this path. So we have to decide what kind of profile it's going to follow. So if we wanted to remove a whole bunch of material from an area in the middle here, say I wanted to put a depression over here to catch the juice as I'm cutting something, that might be a pocket right here. That's a pocket tool path. And then we have other kinds like drilling. Say I had a drill bit and I was running around drilling holes, that would be that. So there's various kinds of tool paths. There's an engraving one here, but we're going to use this one, the profile tool path. And that profile is going to follow the outside or the inside of a path that we specify. So we click profile tool path, and then all of this submenu comes up. So it says a 2D profile tool path. The first thing you need to know is we fill it in from top to bottom. It has a few things. Some of them we don't have to do. So the first thing is start depth. We'll always start at 0. And then the cut depth. How far do we want our cutter to go through? Well, if you remember, our material is 0.75 thick. And I would like to cut all the way through the material. So I need to make this 0.75. Okay, so that's the first bit. The next part is picking. You can push enter, I guess. There we go. Oh, you can't push enter. Enter kicks you out. So I'm going to have to go close. I hate when programs do that. And jump back into profile toolpath. And here I am again. Okay. So don't push enter in the box. What you want to do is just move to the next area. So the next area here is your tool that you're going to use. The router can have various different tools mounted in it. And if I hit select, I can see that there's many different kinds of tools, and it's very confusing at first. But all you need to know is we're going to be using a 1/4 inch, 0.25 inch end mill. And that was on mine a default, but if it isn't on yours, you click it there. And when you click it, all of the details about a 1/4 inch end mill come up. And basically we can accept all of the default settings. Now, things we need to know as we go on in CNC is you'll hear a lot of people talk about feeds and speeds. The speed of rotation of the cutter and the rate at which it travels are two very important factors into how well it cuts, the longevity of the cutter, whether it burns the material. So many things factor into our choice of speeds and feeds. Now, our cutter, we can't control automatically through the software the revolutions per minute of the cutter or the rotational speed. So we don't even have to worry about that. We can control it on the router, but we can't control it here. So we just leave that alone. The feed rate is measured in how many inches per minute. We're just, again, going to accept the defaults. And then the other part is how quick does it plunge down into the material as it's heading down for its first pass. So that's adjustable too. Again, we're going to accept defaults, but there's quite a bit to CNCing and getting this right. And these settings would be quite different if you were cutting MDF, which is a medium density fiberboard, or your cherry or maple or walnut, or maybe aluminum. Maybe you're cutting plastic. These settings would change greatly depending on the material we were trying to put this cutter through. So we'll just hit apply to our basic defaults for the 1/4 inch end mill and push OK. And now I have those basic settings in there. Now the next part is, how many passes should this make? Well, basically, you wouldn't want to pass or take a depth that's greater than half the diameter of the milling bit. So if this is 1/4 inch, we don't want to go deeper than 1/8. So 1/8 is basically, well, how many eighths is 3/4? If you double the bottom, you'll make 8. So you have to double the top, it's 6/8. So the program has automatically done that for us, and it's going to go down 1/8 of an inch at a time and make a full pass around the oval. And the first time it'll make 1/8, the second time it'll make what? 2/8 or 1/4, and then 3/8. And if you want to go into edit passes, you can actually see that it specifies all of the depths: 1/8, 1/4, 3/8, 1/2 inch, and these are all the steps it'll take. And we could change it down here. And by the way, if you ever do change this, you have to hit the set passes afterwards. Don't just change the number and push OK. It doesn't hold it. So you have to change the number, push set passes. So if we thought we were going down too aggressively or cutting too much, we could take 8 passes if we wanted. We definitely wouldn't want to try it in 1. That would be way too much work for the cutter. So we'll just accept the 6. Okay. Moving down. We are down here. This is kind of important. Do we want to travel on the inside of our profile or the outside? Well, I think it would be wise to go on the outside, and that way we maintain the size of our oval. If we go on the inside, the cutter's traveling on the inside, and the oval will be 1/4 inch less all the way around, and that would make your cutting board smaller. You don't want that. Just leave climb on. Well, no need to go into the details on that. Don't worry about this one, separate last pass. No. Add tabs. This is important. As we cut the last pass on our oval, the oval will become free inside the parent material, the large board. It won't be attached anymore when we get near the end. And that could cause problems. It could start moving and the cutter could start smashing into it, and that wouldn't be good. So we're going to add something called tabs. So we'll say add tabs, and the length of the tab is going to be 0.375, and the thickness of the tab is 0.0625. And that means the length of a tab is 3/8 of an inch, and the thickness is 1/16 of an inch. So they're very small tabs, they're not very thick. And then you go edit tabs. And then it says, how many tabs would you like? This is constant number. I would like 4. There we go. And then we say add them. And they appear, these little T's on here, right there, little yellow T's, and you can actually grab them if you carefully position yourself and drag them into different positions to make them, well, ideal for what your uses. There are going to be little bits of material that are left after this is complete that we'll have to cut out by hand. So I'm going to actually just put one up at each end like that, and one on each side, and that's it. And we'll push close. Okay, so I've got that done. Tabs are in. Life is good. And what's left? Add ramping. Kind of unnecessary for what we're doing, so we can leave that. And then this we can leave too. And now we'll just push calculate. When I push calculate, it's going to have gone through and done the math required to do what I've asked it to do. And what I can do here in the preview pane is I can go preview all toolpaths. So I'm going to slow the speed down a little bit so you can watch it. Preview all toolpaths. And you'll see the cutter go around. It's very fast. And you see what it's done. Now something is wrong. It cut through my my tabs. I want those to be left. These are the tabs I have here. So let me just do that. Hang on. You can see that tab there. So the cutter went through. So this is a great thing about the preview. It's done something wrong, and to me it looks like it's double cut. So what I'm going to do is go, oh look, I've got 2 profiles. Somehow along the way I set up another profile. This is the profile I meant to set up 1. So it's gone and done 2. So I'm going to actually click 1, reset my preview, look at it straight on. Straight on would be that way. There we go. So my preview is reset. I'm going to look at profile 1, and I'm just going to preview visible toolpath. Okay, that looks pretty good, but it's got no tabs. So we'll reset, and we'll look at profile 2, preview visible toolpaths. That one looks like the one I want. So if I go into profile 1, double click it, I can see that this is one that somehow along the way I must have set up by accident, and I don't think I want it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get to the bottom and close it. I'm going to right click on it. I'm going to hit delete and delete this. Boom. And now I'm just to be sure, I'm going to go back into Profile 2 and I'm going to quickly scan down all my settings and make sure this is what I want. Outside right, add toolpath. Okay, last thing. Looks pretty good. Calculate. Last thing is I'm going to jump back to my 2D view and I'm going to double check that these arrows, which are indicating the toolpath, are on the outside of my profile line of my cutting board, which they are, so they're going around like that. So that is what I want. I said last thing, but here's the next thing. This hole has to be cut out, but it's going to be an inside toolpath. So I'm going to create another toolpath. So we'll hit close here. It's another profile path. This one's going to be inside. It's remembering the 3/4. It's remembering the end mill. It's remembering the 6 passes. So then I'm going to say, well, I should probably put some tabs in here. And, oh, hang on. I have to go and unclick the magenta. That's what's happening here. Boom, boom. Oh, you have to click the one you want to apply the toolpath to. So I want to apply it to this one. So just looking at what I was doing there. And now I'm okay. I'm going to put the add toolpaths, edit the tabs. I would just like, how many tabs do you think a circle would need? 3? There we go. And push close. Oh, you know what I didn't do? Add tabs, edit tabs, back up to 3. I have to push this add tabs and then I can push close. Gotta be careful. Okay, so there's my tabs. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go run that one. Everything else is good. Nothing left to do. Calculate. And now I'm going to run my profile 3. Reset. Just the visible. That's what that's going to look like when it's done. Okay, last thing. Let's do the full job. Let's go all toolpaths, reset, preview all, slow it down a bit for satisfaction, maybe a bit more. Preview all toolpaths. There it goes. And that looks like it's ready. So that was a bit longer video. That's ready to go. And the next one's going to show you how to save your files, ready them for the CNC. That's it, and see you in tutorial 5.